Wake up. Have you ever worked for someone who seemed more focused on their own reflection in the corporate mirror than the well-being of the team? If so, you might have encountered a narcissistic manager. So let's unravel the 10 signs of narcissism in managers. Narcissistic managers wield their authority not as a tool for empowerment and growth, but as a means of furthering their own agendas at the expense of their subordinates. They leverage their position of authority to extract value or resources from their subordinates for personal gain or advancement. One hallmark trait of exploitative leadership is the delegation without empowerment. While on the surface, delegating tasks or responsibilities may seem like a sign of trust and confidence in one's team, narcissistic managers often delegate without providing the necessary resources, support, or authority for their subordinates to succeed autonomously. Instead, they use delegation as a means of offloading undesirable tasks or shifting blame when things inevitably go awry. This excessive control serves to reinforce the leader's sense of power and authority while undermining the confidence and morale of their team. In addition to their exploitative tendencies, narcissistic managers often display a profound inability to handle authority challenges in a constructive or mature manner. While effective leaders welcome feedback and dissent as opportunities for growth and improvement, narcissistic managers perceive any form of challenge to their authority as a direct assault on their ego and sense of superiority. When faced with authority challenges, narcissistic managers typically react with defensiveness, hostility, or outright aggression, seeking to assert their dominance and quash any dissenting voices. Instead of engaging in open dialogue or constructive discourse, they resort to tactics designed to intimidate or silence those who dare to question their authority. Idealization and devaluation are central themes in the repertoire of narcissistic managers, reflecting their tendency to oscillate between extremes of admiration and disdain for their subordinates. This pattern mirrors the cycle of idealization and devaluation commonly observed in narcissistic relationships, where victims are initially idealized as sources of validation and admiration before being devalued and discarded when they no longer serve the narcissist's needs. In the idealization phase, narcissistic managers shower their subordinates with praise, admiration, and attention. They may lavish compliments, making them feel valued, appreciated, and indispensable to the manager's success. This idealization serves a strategic purpose as it elicits compliance, loyalty, and admiration from the team, reinforcing the manager's sense of superiority and control. This idealization is often short-lived, giving way to the devaluation phase when the narcissistic manager perceives their subordinates as no longer meeting their needs or expectations. During the devaluation phase, narcissistic managers may engage in a range of demeaning or dismissive behaviors towards their subordinates. Hoarding of information and resources is a common tactic employed by narcissistic managers to maintain power and control over their team members. These managers perceive knowledge and resources as tools of leverage, strategically withholding them to assert dominance, manipulate outcomes, and reinforce their sense of superiority. By controlling the flow of information, they maintain a monopoly on knowledge, rendering their subordinates dependent on them for guidance and direction. Narcissistic managers are adept at mirroring their subordinates, reflecting back to them aspects of their own personalities or interests in order to create a false sense of similarity and connection. This mirroring behavior can be subtle yet powerful, as it fosters a sense of familiarity between the manager and their team members. By aligning themselves with the interests and values of their subordinates, narcissistic managers seek to win their trust and admiration, furthering their own agenda in the process. Mirroring is not just about superficial imitation, it often extends to deeper aspects of identity and personality. Narcissistic managers may mirror their subordinates' emotions, attitudes, and beliefs, creating a sense of emotional resonance and validation that fosters a strong bond between them. This emotional mirroring serves as a tool of manipulation, allowing the manager to influence the thoughts and behaviors of their team members to align with their own objectives. Narcissistic managers have a compulsive need to be the best, the most successful, and the most admired in any given context. As a result, they are perpetually comparing themselves, seeking validation and reassurance of their superiority. This constant comparison manifests in various ways within the workplace. Narcissistic managers may obsessively monitor the accomplishments and achievements of their subordinates, viewing them as threats to their own status and authority. They may feel compelled to outshine or outperform their team members, seeking to maintain their position at the top of the hierarchy. Narcissistic managers may selectively remember past events or conversations in a way that portrays them in a favorable light or reinforces their preferred version of reality. This selective recollection allows them to maintain a sense of control over the narrative and protect their ego. Additionally, revisionist history entails the deliberate rewriting or reinterpretation of past events to suit the manager's agenda or justify their actions. Narcissistic managers may distort facts, manipulate timelines, or fabricate details in order to absolve themselves of blame or present themselves in a more favorable light. By rewriting history, they seek to control perceptions, manipulate emotions, and undermine the credibility of those who challenge their version of events. Narcissistic managers often harbor unrealistic expectations of their team members, expecting them to perform at an exceptionally high level without providing the necessary resources. They may set impossibly high standards or goals, demanding perfection and flawless execution in every task or project, regardless of practical constraints. They may dismiss concerns about workload, time constraints, or resource availability, viewing any perceived obstacles as excuses or signs of incompetence. This disregard for the realities of the workplace creates a climate of stress, burnout, and resentment within the team. Narcissistic managers may exploit their access to personal information about their subordinates, such as their vulnerabilities, insecurities, or private struggles, to manipulate and coerce them into compliance. They may use this information to exert psychological pressure or gaslight their subordinates, exploiting their emotional vulnerabilities for personal gain. For example, a narcissistic manager may use knowledge of a subordinate's financial struggles or family issues to coerce them into working longer hours, taking on additional responsibilities, or sacrificing their own well-being for the sake of the team or the organization. They may guilt-trip the targets by suggesting that their personal problems are a burden on the team or implying that they are not committed or dedicated enough to their work. Narcissistic managers may selectively enforce or disregard rules and policies based on their own agenda or preferences rather than applying them consistently and fairly across the board. For example, a narcissistic manager may play favorites, bending or breaking the rules for the team members who are perceived as allies or sources of validation, while holding others to a rigid standard or imposing punitive measures for minor infractions. Moreover, narcissistic managers may use the threat of punishment or disciplinary action as a tool of control and manipulation to coerce compliance or silence dissent. They may exploit their discretion in interpreting and enforcing rules to intimidate their subordinates, creating a climate of fear and uncertainty. Now, reflecting on your own experiences, what strategies have you found effective in dealing with narcissistic managers? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Hit subscribe, join our community, and together, let's illuminate the world with the brilliance of understanding. Until next time, stay grounded in your truth with integrity.